Probably hard to read, but I'm going to try to superimpose this PowerPoint into the video, and hopefully that works. So hi, I'm Brianna Taylor. I am a Master's of Nonprofit Leadership Management student at Price, and you're probably wondering, why am I in a gerontology class? The short story is that I actually run a research center for minority aging research at the Price School now. So my motivation for this paper is my mom. She was a teacher for 30 years, and last year she retired, and she had been talking about retirement for 5 years before that, how excited she was, and it was going to be this great experience. And then as soon as she retired, she cried for like 2 or 3 months, and we couldn't really figure out why. We talked to her, we were around her, and she just kept saying that she missed her kids. She missed her colleagues, she missed the people that she worked with. And then as soon as she started subbing, all of a sudden that sadness, those tears went away. So you can see where I kind of like put that together: retirement, cognitive decline, and the lack of social interaction because of that retirement. So this paper kind of examines the literature on what I just talked about, those 3 big things. And I explore the relationship between, I tried to make it darker so that you could see it, but I doubt you can. So I might just impose the white one, like the lighter version of this. It imposes the relationship between cognitive decline and possible cognitive decline, retirement, and maybe seeing if there's any possible political or social impacts and changes and solutions that we can impose. I'm going to use 3 major longitudinal studies pulled from different papers. I used the American Time Survey pulled by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the AARP Foundation, and the HRS, which is the Health Retirement Survey. So from that's how I'm going to talk about these. I'm going to kind of break them down within each data set and each publication because of it. So the American Time Survey, the University of Michigan came out with this really cool paper that looked at just the 60 and up group of the American Time Survey, and they found out that their results were that people weren't happy with a full-time workload. They wanted a more flexible workload. And so that kind of gave the suggestion that like they wanted to work, but they had the time for it, but they wanted it in their own flexibility of flexible retirement. The AARP came out with this really cool survey with Americans, and obviously it was relatively small, but they looked at social interactions and loneliness, and this is right after their national survey 8 years after that, that looked at loneliness again. And their key finding was that 35% of older adults self-identify as lonely. So if a key predictor of loneliness is physical isolation from your social clubs. That social club could be your workplace family. And again, loneliness is a stressor. So we learned in class that like stressors and their relationship to your cognitive health is pretty strong. Infographic in here because this class seems to really love infographics. And this kind of talks about all the ways you can be lonely and how to help against it and how prevalent it is. But the thing that it doesn't talk about on here is your work environment and your workplace family. So the last one is the HRS, the Health and Retirement Study. And that paper was published in the Journal of Health Economics, and it focused on cognitive functioning and retired people. So they did this kind of recall test to measure the cognition of older people, and it highlights that there's a negative relationship between retirement and cognitive health. So in conclusion, this is condensing my paper really, really small, but in conclusion, there's this concept that we are in the workplace environment for a large chunk of our life, and we should be able to capitalize on a way for us to retire and still be a part of the workplace and help with our cognitive health and help with the labor market in itself. And I think that needs to be studied more about the relationship between social interactions and workplace environments, and not just social interactions being family and everything else, because